VACAYJTV.
Attention!
Soldiers, I am Captain Charity Adams. Welcome to the Women's Army Corps. Welcome to the Women's Army Corps. Welcome to the Women's Army Corps.
Family, when I saw this movie, all I thought about was my mom. I thought about my grandma. Thought about my grandaunt. I thought about all the strong women in my life. And this one really hit right to the heart. And that's why today we're going to go through this. And this one is going to be a powerful one from Tyler Perry. And I got a whole panel so we can discuss this. Panel, I'm ready to talk about it if you're ready to talk about it. I'm going to bring up Tika Deshawn. What was your first initial thoughts about this?
Ooh, well, listen, first initial thoughts were, oh my God, thank you to the women of the 688. The things that you women had to endure to leave your mark on this earth. And I am just so encouraged and excited just to learn more about these ladies. It had me like in the chokehold, seriously. Thank you, Tyler Perry, for bringing us this absolutely amazing moment. This is one of his top projects. I don't think he'll ever do anything else to even try to top this. I was just so excited to see these ladies, and not only because it's their story, but as a woman who has served in the military, it's a part of my story as well, and part of my military journey as well. And so I'm just excited that they brought this to us.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you for just all that you do, because I know you personally, and I salute you. I want to bring up our next guy. Absolutely. I want to bring up my guy, Lawrence. Lawrence, what was your first initial thoughts about this Tyler Perry film?
Soldiers, I knew it was going to be different. I knew it's going to be unique. And I knew that Tyler Perry was absolutely going to bring it. He did just that. I'm thankful for all those women that have paved the way. Those women during the 688, those women are American patriots. Those women, they deserve their flowers. Tyler, you bought it. Absolutely amazing. Blew me away. In my personal opinion, this is Tyler Perry's best work.
Salute. All right. Let's see. I want to go in the middle of the country and see what the Midwest has to say. Monique 69 Ways. What are your thoughts about this film?
I enjoy this film. Shout out to the 6888. I really enjoyed this film. I was like, 2 hours. I'm like, okay. And this is like history. So it's like I learned some more every day. So I learned more about these ladies who serve. So shout out to Tyler. He did his big one on this one. I thoroughly enjoyed it through and through. And there was some moments that had me really, for them. But you know how that goes. But yeah,
It's all right to say.
Yeah,
You shed a thug cry. You had a thug cry.
I had a lot of emotions. It was a lot of range of emotions through and through. So yeah.
I feel you. I definitely feel you. I think all of us can say that this is not only a great movie, but it's an important movie. Emphasis on the importance, because once again, another hidden piece of history. Because I've never, in the 51st cycle around this earth, I've never heard of the 688. Never heard of them. And not to say that I'm a historian, but I've studied Black history. I've studied our history, So thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Kerry Washington. Thank you to everybody. And we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this live discussion. We welcome everybody. Welcome everybody for watching us live. Absolutely. Chime in below. Let us know you're here. Shout out to everybody for coming through. It's time. It's time to get into this and talk about the 688. Now, family, I spent some time putting together these slides, boy. I was pretty much on this thing all day, all night, because, I really felt this movie. This movie spoke to me because, again, I'm thinking about, like, all the women that have come before us. You know what I'm saying? It made me think about Big Mama. It made me think about Grandma. It made me think about all of these good women who hold us down still to this day. So y'all ready to get into this or what?
Let's get it.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. So for me, we first got to give honor. We already said it, but super salute. Tyler Perry, super salute to each and every one of those women who brought this to life. Like, this is a true story. For those that don't know, this is a true story. Okay? It's not fictional. It's not something that Tyler made up. It's not something that, people are like, oh yeah, okay, this is fictional. No, this is real. This is real, okay? So let's get into it. From my point of view, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong and adjust or whatever, to me, the story was kind of based around Lena, right? And it was like an introduction to the 688 through Lena's life. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would definitely say it was about Lena's life. However, and through the 688, we get to meet the amazing Major Charity Adams.
Yes.
And I just want to say, as an Army veteran, they taught us history in the Army. However, this was not a part of our history. So again, I'm just humbled that they left this out, even though we know that there's a postal command. There's so many different aspects of the military. They only said, they didn't even give us how big of a story Black women actually played in the military. And so for them to just for them to be able to tell this particular story is all things amazing to me. So yeah.
Wow. So not even in the military,
Nope.
they told you about the 688.
Nope. We just worked.
Mm.
They gave us the whitewashed history, but never our history. Of course, we knew about the Tuskegee. We always knew about the Tuskegee Airmen. You couldn't escape that. But when it came to the history of the women, there was no giving the. Yeah, they didn't give us that at all.
Shame on them. Shame on them. I'm gonna say that right now. Shame on them. But again, the great Major Charity Adams, right? And of course, our Captain Abby as well, right? Great film. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Let's go. So this is the real 688 right here. I have to give them their props up front. All right. Wonderful job with the actors, but this is the actual footage, the actual picture of the 688. Lena is still alive, family. Lena is still alive. And again, this is the spoiler-filled live discussion. If you haven't seen it, go see it and come back and watch us, okay? Come back and watch us and give your comments below. But yes, Lena is still alive, okay? I mean, 100 years old, still kicking, okay? What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about these? Some of these ladies are still alive, and they gave them their flowers at the very end, but I'm giving them their flowers in the beginning right here so we can get into it. What do you think? I'm going to go to you, Lawrence.
Yeah. The fact that some of these women are still alive, like Lena, to be able to tell their story is absolutely an amazing in itself. It just lets me know that God kept his hands and angels over these women to live this long, for these women to get their flowers and to be appreciated. I'm glad that these women were able to see, this movie, period,
Right. Monique, what are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to this? You looking forward to living to 100 years old, over 100 years old? You looking forward to it?
I would say in the past, yes. Now, the way the country's moving, nah. Give me at a good number, okay? But yeah. But I think it's beautiful that they still here with us and they sound mind and they able to, receive their flowers like Lauren said and see this beautiful movie that Tyler Perry put out. So it was really great.
Yeah.
To hear from the people who was actually there, versus trying to put stuff together from here and there and trying to piece it together like a puzzle. But yeah, it's beautiful.
Tika, would you say that this story, being that it is a real story, is probably one of the most accurate stories because she is alive and, again, coherent?
Yeah, absolutely accurate. Tyler Perry even said that 90% of this movie was based off of what actually happened. So, they have to give that little small 10% just for TV. However, the fact about Lena and the guy that she met while she went in, all of that stuff is very, very much accurate. So I'm loving it. And listen, if God give me 100 years, I'm taking it. Heavenly Father, give me 100, please, sir. I'll take it. And whatever. Listen, this stuff that's going on right now, we've lived through much worse. Yes. And at the end of the day, we can get through this new situation as well. So yes, give me 100 years. This show, this movie is very accurate. Again, kudos to the ladies that are still around to be able to tell their stories.
Yeah.
You just imagine if the young children would actually sit and listen to their grandparents, how much history they would be able to hear versus just everything on this whole internet situation. Listen to older people. They have so many stories to tell. I'm empowered. That was the word I was looking for. Yes. I am empowered to be a better me because of this film. No lies told.
I love it.
Oh, beautiful.
I love it. And that's what I think Tyler was aiming for. I think Kerry Washington was aiming for. I think all the women were aiming for that. I was saying this a little bit earlier that this is an important film, especially for what has just happened. When I say what just happened, I'm talking about the election. because what I feel as far as the
Right.
environment right now, it was kind of a punch in the stomach from America to all women,
Yeah.
right? To all women that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, and correct me, you know, if I'm wrong, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just kind of gauging the temperature of what I'm reading. That it kind of felt defeating, because we were rooting for Kamala. Shout out to
Yes.
Kamala Harris. We want her in office. We wanted a black woman president. And when it didn't happen, it was like America said, nah. And they punched everybody, especially women, in the gut. And yeah. So for this to come out now, absolutely agree. Yeah. I know because we've had a conversation about it. I know.
Yeah.
So to see this movie right here, I hope it re-energizes, you know, everybody when it comes down to just being a woman in America, especially a black woman in America, right?
The fight.
Yeah. The fight continues.
But the fight has
Absolutely.
always continued for us.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
We've had little pieces in history. We've had places,
Yep.
little small places that never anything pivotal or never anything too high up on the mountain. I will say it like that. But I am always and forever, the whole election situation that kind of took me down a notch. But then I realized who I am as a black woman. Again,
Yeah.
I've gone through worse things. And I can definitely get through that. No, we don't have a female president right now, but guess what? One day it's still going to happen. And that's what got me through this entire election process. It may not be this year, next year, whatever the case may be. One day it's going to happen. So I just have to remain optimistic in that whole situation.
That's it. Stay positive. And you got to remember,
I see it happen.
we still do have a black woman vice president.
Yes.
So let's remember that. Let's not forget that. Okay.
Oh yes. That's
Okay.
cemented.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that is still a part of history in itself, like you said, Jay. The first black female president. So even though she didn't win the presidency, like we all hope, like we all wanted, we still have her as a history maker, right? As a pioneer, you know, as a change agent. So,
right. That's right.
One other thing, though, keep in mind, even if it was only for about 40 to 80 minutes, when President Joe Biden had to go and have some kind of procedure done or examination done, and he couldn't be president for those 40 minutes, Kamala was the president.
That's right.
And people just didn't really realize it. You know what I mean? So, hey, I get it. I find humor in little things. You know what I mean? So,
but again, that's a part of history that they're probably gonna sweep under the rug. Be like, yes, she was president for a certain period of time. Nah, don't worry about that. Sweep that under the rug with the 688. You know, man, it's crazy. So let's get started with the film. Let's talk about the setup, and then we're gonna go and we're going to expand as far as the discussion. So I want to talk about the setup of the film first, and then we'll lock in with everything else as far as the highlights. All right. It starts off with this quote right here from Mary McLeod Bethune. Fun fact. Here's a fun fact, guys. I went to elementary school in New York City, and the name of the school was PS 92, the Mary McLeod Bethune School. So you think I know a little bit about Mary McLeod Bethune? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to her. Yeah, shout out to her. I saw her face all over the walls walking through. I'm like, who's that? That's Mary McLeod Bethune. Oh, okay. And we'll talk about what Johnny May said, right? We'll get into that. So, very important quote here. We are anxious for you to know that we want to be and insist upon being considered a part of our American democracy, not something apart from it. Mary McLeod Bethune. What does this mean to you? I'm gonna start with you, Tika. What does this mean to you? Like coming from Mary McLeod Bethune back then, what do you think? What are you thinking?
Well, being from Florida, having to have visited Bethune-Cookman College, on the campus, there is her home where it's literally the same way it was when she passed away. They left it that exact that way. And when it's like when you walk into her home, you can actually feel, you get kind of goosebumps. It's like you feel her presence in some shape, form, or fashion. And I'm just honored to know that she was a part of making another form of history. She was a history maker herself, but then to take it up a whole other notch and let the military know, hey, we need something different. These ladies can handle this. We're definitely not going to be counted as something apart from democracy. We've done, and I feel that we as women, as human beings, African American, Black, whatever you want to call us, we've done so much to make pivotal moments, historic moments, and they want to leave us out. But it's up to us in actuality to basically make them see us. And I just, her statements are always powerful. Yeah, it's just always going to be a powerful statement. Anything from Mary McLeod Bethune, listen, y'all just go. I'm not plugging Bethune-Cookman College, but if you're ever in Daytona Beach, Florida, just go to Bethune-Cookman College, ask to do the tour of her home, and like I said, her shoes are the same way that they were when she passed away. Her bed was made up, but her home is exactly how it was when she passed away. So
amazing.
Wow. Yeah, okay. I'm about to check that out one
else?
day.
Oh yeah. Anybody else want to add to this, or we can move on?
For me, when I see this quote on the screen, just lets me know that every fight continues, every vote must count, and we have been through much worse. And as the world continues on, we will continue to get better as a race of people. The fight is not over. We still going to pursue like we always done before.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
All right. Yeah. Monique concurs. All right. Let us move on. All right, let's get to the 688. We start off this film right away. As Tyler Perry does it, he gets us right in the thick of it, right? So we are starting off, where are we? We are at San Pietro, Italy. See, I was going to say San Pietro, but it's Pietro because it's Italian. I speak a tiny bit of Italian, maybe.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yes.
I don't know. But here we are. We are December 1943. This is World War II. Okay. Question for you. Here's a history question for you. What date did World War II start?
Siri, what date did World War II?
No, I don't even.
Come on, right. Siri, help us out.
All right, I'll give it to you. No, we don't need to do that. You talk about the young folks, right? Looking on the internet now.
I'm 50, man.
I know. September 1st, 1939 is when World War II started. Okay. And it ended on September 5th, 1949. Okay. All right. So we're in the thick of it. We see this soldier. We see this white soldier here. Again, that's what it says in the cast, white soldier. So that's what it is. And he is in the trenches with the rest of the guys here, and they are ready to go after the enemy. It's like, all right, let's go. And as soon as this one guy goes up there, he gets popped and he's on the ground. This white soldier's like, oh my God. You can see it on his face. He looks terrified, but he's still going to be brave. He's still going to go out there. September 1939 to 45, sorry, 1945. All right. What did you think about this opening scene here? I mean, again, Tyler puts us in the thick of it every single time he opens up. Do you think that he really captured the moment of World War II in this particular moment? I'm going to go to you, Lawrence, first.
Absolutely. I mean, look, these guys are in bunkers and there's a war going on. And we saw that man right there, he ends up losing his partner, one of his friends. And like you said, one thing about Tyler, he has that good formula. That's one thing I do love about Tyler. But then the first 5 minutes, he's going to pull you in somehow, some way, right? And we literally see that in this opening scene right here. So my thoughts on this right here, Tyler pulled me in. I was like, okay, I see what we're doing. I can't wait to see what's getting ready to happen next.
Absolutely. Monique, you want to add anything?
I was like, oh, we starting off like this. I'm like, that's like Lauren said, it really draws you in when you in action battle, and you trying to see where does this go. Like how does these ladies' stories going to start? So we see that it started right here. and have a letter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Tika, you know,
Yeah.
at first, real quick before you go, at first I was like, okay, how does this guy? First of all, I know he's gonna pull him out because you know that's part of his partners. Like, oh, this one of my guys. He's an American soldier, American pilot. Pull him out. This showed me that he knew the guy because for whatever reason now he's looking through his stuff and he finds this letter. Being in the military, is that a regular thing that if you find a wounded or severely injured soldier that you would look? Again, this is back in 1943, right? But what are your thoughts on this?
Basically, you're taught leave nobody behind, and he did what he had to do to like check to see if he was still, breathing. And at the end of the day, he found out he wasn't. And basically, you're supposed to look for letters or identifying markers, which would be dog tags. And he found that letter, and it's accurate. Like I was like, oh my god! But where's the letter? I think I know where the letter is going. But where's the letter really going? Like the letter is a part of the movie as well.
Right.
So yeah, it was accurate. It was accurate.
I like how, Tyler just kind of like puts us not in the beginning of things. He kind of puts us like slightly towards the middle or something and then backtracks to kind of explain what this means, what that means. It's a lot of, I like what he's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Tyler. But here we go. Last words in the letter. So back then, as you said, dog tags, letters to their loved ones, right? This is my last will and testimony kind of type of thing, right? So, usually in the movies or usually whenever, it's like, hey, if I go, tell my baby I love her or tell my, it's usually that. But back then it was letters that they would use to give them the real description of how they felt before they were gone, right? So he looks like he's going through it. That was his boy. They's like, leave him there. Let's move on. They go back. They have to retreat back to the camp. And he puts that bloody letter in a bag full of letters. And I'm like, man, why they got a whole bunch of bags? What is going on? Why are these letters not getting to whoever it needs to go to? I had no idea. I was kind of like, what is going on? And you see right here, they take it to this airplane hangar. And I call it the Mountains of Lost Emotions. How's that sound? That's a good title.
That's it.
I'm trying to get
I
my
like
movie
it.
thing on.
I like it.
Sure.
I like it.
I'm trying to get my movie thing on. You know what I'm saying? Work with me. Mountains of Lost Emotions, right? And I'm like, man, what is going on? So I'm clueless as to what's going on, but I know we're in World War II. These letters are not getting out at all. So let's backtrack. Let's go back 1 year, 1942. We are in Bloomfield, Pennsylvania, at this high school. Now I looked it up and I said, okay, this is 1942. Integration ain't happened till way later.
Yeah.
So I kept asking Siri and ChatGPT. I'm like, there was integration going on in 1942. What was going on? You know what I mean? And of course they don't know. But this is an all-girl school. And this is up north in Pennsylvania. So things probably would have been a little different where all girls, black and white, would go to school together. Again, it's further up north. This is not the South. If this was the South, it probably, it wouldn't happen. Ooh. But we meet Abram and we meet Lena. And what do you think, Monique, about Abram and Lena? What do you think about their first interaction?
I'm like, okay. I had to kind of rewind it back a little bit because the interaction, I'm like, okay, this is not the South. I'm like, because, it would be more, brutal for them two to interact, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So I had to rewind that back a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, it's cute. I just said it was cute.
Right.
And I ain't know we was going to start off with Lena. I know the actress who played in Sisters, played Karen in Sisters. So I was like, okay. So you leading. So I was smiling.
Right. Because you saw a familiar face. And?
I saw a familiar face and yeah.
Right.
It wasn't no brutal action.
Wasn't a brutal
action for them.
It was brutal. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Brutal.
But it wasn't like, it was blatant trouble because, as I say, blatant trouble. You know, it was like undercover, right? Right, Tika? It was
Right.
undercover, you know. All right.
I
So what do we?
mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought that I'm like, dang, so this is what we doing? Interracial couples already? But if you notice, she did not get in that front seat with him. She was in that back
Right.
seat.
Right.
So it wasn't like they could actually literally sit right next to each other.
Yes.
Touching.
They whatever they had, they kind of kept it on the low,
Mhm.
but they were still able to be friends. They just couldn't be lovers and friends out loud. You know what I mean?
In public.
In public,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Lawrence, what do you think about this, man? I mean, is it love at first sight? Like, what are you thinking at this point?
So basically, when I saw this right here, I was like, okay, we got some undercover swirling. And like Tika said, it was smart of Lena not to get in the front seat because, back then, black and white, you can't sit beside another white person like that. You have to be considered to be sitting in the back. You know what I'm saying? So I completely get it. But I was like, okay, this is going to be the love interest. I'm interested to see how this right here is going to turn out between these two star-crossed future lovers or potential lovers.
Oh yeah, Vector Niner Vector. He was talking a whole lot of Tika. I ain't know what he's saying, but I mean, it sounded like she understood the assignment.
Right.
So they got away from Catherine. I forgot her name because I was so mad at her. Catherine and whatever.
Karen.
That's something like Karen. You just do Karen. Catherine.
Right,
she was a Karen. She was a
Being
Karen before Karen,
right?
But Vector Niner Vector, I mean, they're having fun. He obviously wants to be a pilot. He's talking about going away to the war and everything else like that. We're going to speed this up a little bit. And we see that letter. We see a flash forward to that letter. Did you make the connection that was his letter? Yeah, I didn't either.
I didn't.
I did.
You did?
Oh.
Okay.
I'm like, it had to be. It's like, why would they flash back to this letter and they got these two in the scene? Like, it had to deal with them two. But I ain't know the specifics of how you gonna get there. I just know the letter has its own character in this movie.
Right.
Letter.
You knew there had to be a reason why they showed that letter in the middle of them doing what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, I didn't make the connection. I was like, okay. Thanks for reminding me of what you showed me a little bit earlier. But let's move on. This guy's really in love with her. And I think they're kind of in love with each other. I really think they got something for each other. At first, honestly, like a lot of people, like a lot of us, I was like, okay, Tyler, what you doing? You said it, Tika, earlier. Interracial, like, what is going on here? Why are you showing me this guy? You know what I'm saying? What you trying to do here? You know what I mean? But again, I had to come back to my senses and say, you know what? You like who you like. You love who you love. Even back then, they was loving on each other. They just couldn't go but so far, right? So this guy, Abram, seems to be a respectful guy. The mother comes out. She's like, all right, get inside. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to write you every day. And he really, really is into her, right? And then we go inside the house. And who do we see? Hey, it's Baja Lynn Odoms, yo.
El
Mother is in the house, man.
Love it.
Man, shout out to Elder Mother. Shout out to Baja Lynn Odoms. For real, I was happy to see her face. I was happy to see her, with her facial expressions. And she had what? Tika, she had a country accent.
Yes.
Another familiar face.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, she's multi-talented. I love to see her range, you know what I mean? But this is Auntie Susie. I put the auntie on there. But this is Susie. And Susie like, yeah, I see you like that boy. She like, that's your boyfriend. He's like, not my boyfriend. He's like, oh, well, why you smiling so much, right? She did a great job. What y'all think about Aunt Susie and Mom? And there was a little bit of interaction here, a little bit of reveal of what's going on with Lena's mom and the husband. Did y'all peep that out? Anybody jump in?
Say that again one more time.
As far as him leaving and not sending that bastard. Sorry,
the husband not being there, leaving and not coming back and not letting her know what's going on. Yeah.
Nothing. Just left.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, what's going on here? What are you writing, Tyler? Why are you writing? Why are you writing this? He got to fit some type of drama in there somehow, right?
Yeah, because the mom was about to be judgmental
Yes.
about Lena. She was about to cast judgment on who she was liking, loving, having a little crush on, or whatever the case may be. And so Auntie Susie, we're going to call her Auntie Susie, broke it down. It was like, look, don't forget about your situation. Don't forget what happened with your husband. Let her be happy. It's while it's acceptable, for the most part, allow her to be happy.
Dang, Auntie Susie, you just giving it to her, huh? You just don't be judging, because she was like, I'd rather her be with a black boy instead of.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. That's what it was. She was like, may I remind you, ma'am? And they were talking about also getting her money to go, to go to the university. They want her to go to college,
Right.
but they're trying to figure out how to make that happen. So I thought that was very, very important to talk about. All right, let's set this up. Let's go. The promise ring. All right, we go to this party. Susie is hosting it or catering it or whatever. They're out there serving the people. They're talking about him going to war. This is a celebration, like a going away party for Abram to go to war. Okay. And again, she puts him in the friend zone. She's like, yeah, I know Catherine, she likes you. It's not because of my color only that she doesn't like me. It's because she likes you. And, she's like, yeah, but I don't like her and all this and that. And then he starts singing. Y'all remember the song?
I don't remember the song. I don't remember the song, but I do remember him singing. Do y'all remember it?
The Way I Love You? Or
You made me love you. It was an old time.
something.
Okay.
I didn't
I
want
know
to
had
do
love in
it.
it.
Didn't want to do it. And he was bad. He was awful. She was like, stop. And then he was like, yo, kiss me. So they kissed first time, because again, she only saw him as like a friend. She really liked him, but you know how it is, ladies. Y'all like us, but y'all don't tell us. Y'all kind of, make us kind of guess sometimes.
Anyway.
I gotta throw some VACAYJ in there. So mama comes out and she's like, if you want to court my daughter, you come over to the house and you talk to me and my husband and ask us. And he was like, okay, that's my first mission back. But where your husband? Huh?
Right.
Huh?
It always come back to the husband.
That's every mother. That's family. That's how you do
Yeah.
it. You don't get to just court somebody without the parents being introduced to the relationship. And then another thing with her family working for his family, they don't want to lose what little income they do have coming in,
Right.
because I'm sure his family is not that liberal and would probably turn over in several graves if they knew he was out there in the front yard kissing on Lena. So she's like, hey, do it right or don't do it at all.
Well, I want to point out the fact that we finally understand exactly who he is. He's Jewish. Okay. Now, again, the Jews back then was just as oppressed, maybe a little bit less, than us blacks, us Negroes back then, right? But they were all going after Hitler because Hitler was taking out the Jews and putting them in, concentration camps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You heard the guy in there. He said it went from concentration camps to execution camps, So it's kind of like, yeah, we in this together type thing. And we're fighting our battle over here in America. You're fighting your battle over there in Jerusalem and Germany and stuff like that. So they kind of there a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's like a white Anglo-Saxon type of white guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's more on the Jewish
Okay.
level. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to that. So I just wanted to point that out. So it is what it is, man. He gave her the promise ring. It is what it is. Let's keep going. All right.
I knew he was going to have a.
You knew I was going to have this.
I knew.
That's right. That's right. So it's obvious, like it has to be like a long time that Abram has been gone. She's looking out for the mailman, seeing if any letters came in. We already know ain't no letters come in for whatever reason. And Susie said, "Where you get that ring from?" On Cracker Jack's box, right? and shout out to Baja because she's like, when they start putting rings in Cracker Jack, rings. You see that right there? You see on the left bottom? She's like, rings. But those that don't know, I put this up here for a reason because we may have an audience that is not familiar with Cracker Jacks.
I used to love Cracker Jack.
Man, I was just about to say that. I used to eat them all the time as a kid. Oh my God. And when you come up, you think this is new. Like, oh, I got Cracker Jack. This thing been around since the 40s. I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. So when they start putting rings and Cracker Jack boxes, but she is not happy because she hasn't heard from Abram. We don't know why. Okay.
Right.
Let's keep going. So she goes to school. She's writing to Abram, and the teacher's like, "Hey, put that away, put that away." And she is introduced to the Women's Army Corps. All right, and it's showing this black and white, movie. And they're like, yeah, women can go to the army and they can help out the soldiers and, basically cook and clean it. It's kind of like, yeah, we want you to help us out over here. It wasn't really like go to war, like battle, but help the troops and everything else like that. So she's looking at that. What do you think she's thinking at this point? Because she's writing to Abram. She hasn't heard from him. What do you think she's thinking? I'm going to start with you, Mo.
She thinks she's about to join and see what's happening over there. Yeah. She think about joining.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear her, what's her mom and her aunt or whoever talking about not having money for school. So what's the next best thing?
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking that and thinking also, yeah, she's in love with Abram. She wants to see Abram. Like, maybe I could see him over there. Right, Lawrence? Like
that's really not how that works, but yeah. Yeah.
Hey, that was literally sitting in front of my mom when you was asking that question before you went to Mo. I'm like, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I think she wanted to do it. So listen, I can go over there, check up on him, and hopefully, they can pay for my education while I'm in the military or something like that. But my main mission is to go over there and check up on my boo.
Check up on my boo. And that's what she wanted to do. She went outside. She stood on that hopscotch game that the girls was playing, and she was looking up in the sky. She saw that plane, and she was like, Abram, is that you? Mm-hmm. Is that my baby?
Mm-hmm.
But the possibilities end in tragedy, Tika. And Mr. David comes over to deliver a letter to Mama Lena, and it's not good news. What do you think about this, Tika? Talk to me.
Yeah, I cried. I cried when she walked up the stairs. I cried when she got in the bed and cried. I cried because she loved him so much, and that night was like their first kiss, their first, real interaction as far as attempting to be a couple, and all of that literally went out the window with a letter. And I felt bad for her, but again, shout out to Ebony Obsidian sister.
Yes.
Did an amazing job. And Donna Bisco, the mother in this scene, oh my God, she, even though she didn't really care for her daughter to be with him like that, she still she gave empathy. She showed empathy to her daughter.
Yeah.
So that hurt.
Yeah, she wasn't a mean mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, she usually plays like meaner roles.
Crazy.
She was a loving mom, a concerned mom, a protective mom, you know what I mean? And she wanted what's best for her. And so she was upstairs and she came downstairs by the, clipping the beans and everything. And she says, I decided that I'm going to the army. They're like, what? What you talking about? Here goes Susie. She was like, well, they only going to do is get you to cook and clean and, clean up for the white man. I mean, you might as well do that here. But she's like, no, I'm going. I decided I want to go. Well, you supposed to be going to the university. Well, what money? And it was like, wow, okay. Lawrence, man, like, it's time to go, right? It's time to go.
Yeah, I mean, here in the South, we call that shelling peas. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, listen.
Yeah.
I had to change of direction. I saw what happened to my man Abram, and this whole college thing. Forget that. I'm about to go into the Corps. I'm going to the military, and of course, the mother was absolutely completely shocked because, like we all said before, they're trying to save all this money for her to go off to the university, right? But hey, she's a grown woman, and this decision that she wants to make, and she's headed to the Corps.
Yeah. So, let's go. Let's do it. Before we do it, though, Mama's sending Lena off with some food. Like, I had to laugh at this because this just reminded me, of course, of my mama, my grandmama, all my church mamas. When I went away to college, man, they made sure I had the care package, boy.
Always.
But it's funny. What the funny thing that was said though was like, She only is allowed to take one bag. You giving her another bag, you gonna make her clothes smell like pork and beans. You know, mamas always want to make sure we fed. So I really appreciated this moment. But, you know, Lena's mom was crying. And Susie was like, are you crying? They ain't even going to send her to Europe. Don't even worry about it. You know what I mean? She going to be here. Don't worry about none of that
She's
stuff.
going to
right?
Georgia.
That's right. She going to Georgia, right? Okay. So let's go. Here we go, family. It's time. It's time to be introduced to Lena's crew, the new crew. Who is it? We got Bernice Baker on top, boy. Bernice Baker from New York. I had to put that out. You know what I'm saying? New York, salute. You know what I'm saying? And then we got Johnny May. Johnny May is in the building. And then we got Elaine White and Dolores Washington. I'm going to go to Tika because Tika, I want to know your first impression of Johnny May.
She was real. She was real. She let them know why she was really there. She was country as hell. Excuse my language. She was country, and I loved it. I loved it. Johnny May. And then she had the humor. She had the, she brought the humor to this film as well. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Lawrence, what do you think about these ladies right here? You know, who stood out to you? Who was a little bit too proper, I'm a lady and we don't do that. And
I mean, listen, Johnny May is who she is. She ain't changing her personality right. for nobody, right? She all gonna send 10 toes down and just express how she feel as a woman with the country accent, the whole nine. I can't think of that one girl, but that one girl absolutely killed me when she was like so what's what I'm looking for? She was so uppity, the preacher girl, whatever. It was different from her. I appreciate
Elaine White.
Yes, Elaine.
I appreciate the biracial girl in here. That was dope how they show her as well. But yeah, this crew, pretty solid crew.
Right. Yeah. Let me inject real quick. She's an Afro Latina because she's half Mexican and half black.
Yes.
So when what's the name? Tika, when you saw Max from the Oval, right? When he pulled the ladies.
Like, he went to pick up all the white girls, and she was one. He thought she was one, and I love her. What word am I looking? Her strength to say,
yes,
you're not the wrong one. I'm not one of those girls. I should be right where I am, because she could have the courage. She could have easily went with the white girls because she could pass. Like, she could literally pass, and that's what a lot of the as they called them back in the day, colored women who looked like they were white. That's what they were doing. They were passing.
Yeah, white passing.
They were white women. So I salute her courage for saying, no, I'm a black woman and I'm where I'm supposed to be.
That's it. She says, I am a Negro. She says, I am Negro.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yep.
And proud. She's like, I'm a Negro and proud. I'm going to sit right here. Yeah. Right. So, but we find out something important here about Dolores Washington, that in fact, all of them have been trying to get into the Women's Army Corps, but they couldn't get in. They try to take a test. They're well studied. They have degrees and everything. And they said that they failed. They lied, right? They were lying. They just didn't want them to get in. But Miss Dolores Washington wrote a letter to Mary McLeod Bethune, right? And that's what got them to get into this right here. And of course, Johnny May is like, who is McLeod? Who's Cloud? Right? And she's from the South. She's like, y'all gonna stop making fun of me.
Where you from?
Yeah,
the
from
country.
The South. I love her too.
She's fun. I like her.
Yeah, I like her too. So here we are. We are in Georgia. Somebody pronounce that fort name, because I ain't get it. Who can pronounce that?
Fort Oglethorpe.
Yeah.
Oglethorpe. Okay. The T is silent. Got you.
Nah, Thor. Like Thor.
Got you, like Thor. Oglethorpe. There you go. Fort Oglethorpe. Here we are. All right. So the ladies get there. They put them on a truck. They all looking nice and with dresses on. Throw them on this dirty truck. But they get to the fort. And we see for the first time Private Hugh Bell. And he like, I'll help you out. Because the Max, the guy, white guy, he was like, get down from there. It's like, how we gonna get down? He's like, we gonna help you out. You know what I'm saying? So here comes Hugh. He looking at the first young lady. And who does he see? He sees Lena. Oh shoot, boy. Oh shoot. So what did y'all think about this interaction? Is what's this love at first sight? Your boy is definitely he trying to make moves already. What do you think? I'm gonna go to Lawrence first.
Shout out to my boy Jay Reeves. This is an actor right here that I know from All American, going back from season one. He
Yeah.
played one of the villains on the show, actually the top villain during the season one. So shout
Okay.
out to him. I was grateful to know that he was getting this role right here, being booked and busy. Yeah, he was basically set up to be the love interest as we know for Lena. Very smooth cat, you know what I'm saying, with little mustache right there, trying to put in work the way he's supposed to, trying to lure her in eventually. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that little interaction. Basically, the love interest, the intro to the love interest, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, she's smiling back. I mean, you know what it is with this. He's like, I help you down. And of course, Johnny May, like, you only gonna help her around? Johnny May, she is blocked. She
She
already blocking.
blocking.
Right? Go ahead, Mo. She blocking?
Yeah, she was blocking, But yeah, he definitely was tripping and stumbling trying to help her get her down out of that truck, and he fell in love at the same time.
Mm,
So yeah, he definitely
okay.
fell.
Tika, you feeling him? You feeling him for Lena or what?
I mean, listen, I in my mind, I was like, girl, don't fall in love real quick, because at the end of the day, you about to be on a military installation, and it's gonna be a whole lot of other men that you're gonna be able to choose from. So slow your
Dang,
roll.
dang,
Slow
Tika
your roll.
said, "Don't choose the first one you see."
Slow your roll.
Tika is talking from experience, I am
Indeed.
assuming.
Indeed. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I love it. I love the fact that we have an experienced veteran here on the line with us today to give us the first-hand accounts of what really goes down
Yeah.
on these forts, right? I want to definitely shout out the wardrobe department and also, everybody that's putting this whole thing together. I mean, the wardrobe is on point. Like seriously, all the way down. If you look to the left, you see the font on the letters on the door. That is definitely from back then in the
Mm.
40s, man. Like that's how detailed this is. So I wanted to quickly shout them out for really putting this together very, very well. Attention! Everybody post salute now. Come on now. Who are we introduced here? These ladies, they got their outfits. Johnny May, she having a problem because her breasts are too big and the thing is too small, and whatever the case is, right? But we are introduced to now Captain Charity Majors. Man, okay, Kerry Washington, shout out to you. You're looking good, sounding real strong, right? What was your first impression, Tika, of Captain Charity Majors?
Shoot, she made me
I
stand
mean,
at attention.
Adams.
She made me stand at attention when she walked in that room. She commanded the room. She literally commanded the room. But I love that she let the ladies know we're in this thing together. That uniform was supposed to be made for a white woman to fit. However, we know we got curves and we're going to work on it. I know there's a seamstress in this building somewhere that can help one of y'all with this uniform. So
Right.
don't stress about it. In a nutshell, don't stress. We got you. We're here together. We're a team. We're gonna work this thing out together. She displayed so much strength. To be such a little woman, she was like a big woman. Like she was a big, like there was just so much to her. I love her. I love this role for her.
Monique, your thoughts on Captain Charity?
Well, I just know Carrie. She definitely carried this character. She, even when it came to her monologue scenes, it was just you feel her. You know what I'm saying? Like this person is coming through. Like I believe her. So hey, yeah, I won't mind, being under her leadership. That's all I can say about that.
Mm, okay. So you would be able to rock with the captain
Yeah.
because
Oh
All right.
yeah.
All right. Lawrence, your thoughts on Captain?
Yeah, bold, powerful, courageous leader. She may be short, but she's a giant within that core. She's a giant to those women right there. Kerry Washington absolutely delivered this role right here. Absolutely ate this up, killed it. I feel like I was literally watching Charity Adams in real time. Very powerful woman. Love this right here.
Yeah. Definitely came off as just like, listen, I'm in charge and I'm gonna put you on, and we all Negroes here, and we got something to prove and we got something to do, and we got to get it done. And I want nothing but excellence. So she told him out the gate, like, listen, we can't half step. We can't be about no BS here. We can't fight amongst each other. We have something to prove here as the only Black women Negro core. Right, we got a chip on our shoulder because they think we can't do it, but right here we know Lena, man. I felt sorry for Lena. Lena, this boot camp was no joke. Okay, this little dainty little girl, I don't think she was prepared for that. I think she was just like, yeah, I'll go to the army. I'll go. Right? She thought it was like nothing. Nah. But what I do love is how the girls are cheering her on. They're encouraging her, like, come on, Lena, come on, Lena, come on. You could do it. You can do it. You can do it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a negative thought about or nothing negative said to her. It was really just like, go. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Even though Johnny May was like, you ain't going to get me sent home. We already know how Johnny May is. Yeah. It happens.
Real talk, and not just making this about me, but that obstacle right there, that whole obstacle course, that's messy hard for real. Like trying to go crawl in some mud in the rain, that is not an easy task at all. So
I can only imagine.
They didn't use a whole lot of stunt actors or stunt doubles for these scenes, and for them to get down and dirty and in that mud, listen. I had a flashback. Oh my God. Yes.
She had a flashback, man. Okay. It's a lot. Family, if you just joined us, definitely come on in and hit that like button. We appreciate you for coming through. We see your comments, and we are absolutely going through the 6888 live discussion, family. Again, we love this movie, obviously. Lena, going through it. She's going through it. She's a little bit late with putting her mask on. Okay. And she comes out, and they got cameras on all of them, fam. Cameras on all of them. It's like, dang, why they got cameras on all of them? Well, what are you trying to prove? Like, oh, the women can't do it. The Black women can't do it. Like, I was kind of mad. I was mad at that. They got cameras on them and, taking pictures like,
Yeah, that killed me right there, Jay. Whenever Lena, we saw what happened with her and those guys, I guess paparazzi, I guess you could say. They went up to her and shot those pictures, basically trying to, like you said, display around the world that these Black women, they can't do their job. It's like, hey, take a look at this picture right here. I'm showing you that they can't do it, but we know they up for the task.
Right. I mean, just thinking about it, like Captain Charity Adams had to go through a hell of a lot to get to the leadership position that she's in. Like, how do you do that back in the 40s? You know what I mean? Where they still consider you a second-class citizen if you are Black. You know what I mean? So for her to get to that rank, it's like, whoa, I was impressed off the top. But as Lena's down there on the ground, looking up, looking at the captain, she also sees a vision of love, right? A vision of Abram. And he's like, come on, you could do it. You got to try. And then here comes Lena, like, you got to try a little bit harder, but I appreciated this moment right here. I think that Lena, this was the part where Lena was like, all right, I got to kick it in overdrive. Because he was like, you know who she reminds you of? Catherine, whatever her name is, back home. So you know what we do with that. Okay. All right. Here we are with Oprah Winfrey playing Mary McLeod Bethune. We have President Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt. Again, the reason why we're here is because there was a lady outside of the Roosevelt home. She was standing there in the rain, and she basically explained that she has been writing to her son and hasn't gotten any letters back. And it's and hasn't gotten any letters back, hasn't got anything back. She's so upset. So that's the reason why we're here. And Eleanor Roosevelt, of course, spoke to the president. The president sitting down with the generals. General Halt, right? So first I want to hear, what are your thoughts on Mary McLeod Bethune? Did Oprah Winfrey do a good job? And then I want to hear your thoughts about General Halt. I'm going to start with Monique 69 Ways.
Of course you are. Yes. I mean, it's Oprah. Like, I mean, when she get in her acting bag, she will deliver. Okay. She did a good job to me. But this guy right there, trash. I did not like him. You know,
Straight
that's
trash.
yeah. So like this movie had me going through a different range of emotions, and this is like my anger, like
Yeah.
you know, triggering like anger, like for real. He triggered the angry emotion, so it's like,
Mm, Does General Holt remind you of anyone? I'm sure. You don't have to say their name. Don't say their name. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Lawrence, your thoughts on Mary McLeod Bethune, Roosevelt, and General Holt?
Yeah, I think Oprah did a great job with her role. Of course, the general absolutely annoyed me. I was screaming at my TV because I was so upset at him because we know he's going to be the villain, basically, right? One of the villains. There's one more we'll talk about
yeah,
later. But he was basically the main villain, and I was annoyed at him because he was so uptight. We knew that he was going to be stubborn, a typical, I hate to say it, sexist, racist old man. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was in this military, in these ranks, sometimes that badge doesn't matter because you're still going to be racist against your own people, even though your own people are still wearing the same badge and uniform that you are. But
yeah,
yeah, didn't really care too much about the general, but I know he was set up to be the villain. But my emotions was basically focused on him during this scene with Oprah.
Yeah.
yeah.
Tika, were you surprised that he did not know that there was a women's Negro Corps within his own army?
No, it didn't surprise me. He spoke racism from head to toe. He barely wanted to be in the presence of Mary McLeod Bethune, a black woman. So no, it didn't surprise me that he didn't know, and he's ignorant. Of course, he didn't do the research. You know what I mean? He's one of those that probably just got promoted because he knew somebody. And that's what he strikes me as. He's that his cockiness was overwhelming, and you don't really even know your job, your unit, your battalion. You don't really know what's going on with among you. So he really wasn't a very good. Now this guy played his role, but as a general, you or yeah, it's a general, yeah. But at the end of the day, one wrong move and that little stripe could be taken away from you, and you could be on the lower part of the totem pole, like underneath the totem pole. But yeah, I mean, he made us hate him, and he did his job. But I also want to just say quickly about Oprah portraying Mary McLeod Bethune. There's not a lot of video or not a whole lot of visuals out there that we can actually go and see how Mary McLeod Bethune spoke, how she walked, how she, there's only little bits and pieces of history of her here and there. And so for Oprah Winfrey to go into portraying this character, she did really well. She spoke with authority, and Mary McLeod Bethune did speak with authority always. She had that commanding voice, and so. But salute to Eleanor Roosevelt for acknowledging that there was a need to get the mail out there.
Absolutely. Shout out to her. I wanted to shout out Mary McLeod Bethune on knowing the specifics and the details of how highly intelligent Captain Charity Adams was. How she had multiple degrees, how she was top of her class. Like, this guy is the general, and she is in his army, and he doesn't even know that, right? So, there was no turning back at this point. Of course, Roosevelt, they said that he was a more of a sympathetic to the Negroes back then, just like Eleanor Roosevelt bringing in Mary McLeod Bethune. So, yeah. I like the fact that Mary McLeod Bethune just kind of was like, here, like, let me point this in your face, something that you didn't know, like. She's highly intelligent and highly capable, and her core is highly capable as well. Okay. All right. So here we are. It's time. It's time for us to go on mission. It's time. All right. We got the word. President Roosevelt, Eleanor, all right, Mary McLeod Bethune. They said, all right, this is it. Because we know that Captain Charity Adams has been trying and wanting to prove herself to the generals and all of them for them to go on a mission. That's all she wanted to do. They've been training, and they would never let them go on a mission. Now it's time for a mission. All right, it's time. Look at Mary McLeod doing it at top corner. She cutting the eyes at that man, General Hall, right? So, I skipped over the part that they were in the movie theater. We know that these, racist guys came up in there trying to get them to get out of the seats, right? Captain Charity said, you know what, you're going to salute me. And the guy said, that'll never happen, right? We find out what happens in the end. We'll circle the block on that. But we finally got a mission, right? She went in to complain about these guys, but it's like, you know what? Put that to rest. It's time to go on mission. And now they're going to go to where are they going? They're going to Italy? Where are they going? Is it Scotland?
Oh.
Was it Italy?
Well, they have to go
No,
overseas.
Germany? No, it wasn't Germany.
I know. Overseas. Yeah.
All right. Let's just say they had to go overseas. So they got their assignment, right? And we know that Captain Charity and, her partner was flown overseas, right? And he gave her a letter and said, don't open this until you're over the water. And they find out that they are there to deliver mail to the soldiers and sort out this mail. And they have no idea. They're like, man, this is it. This is the mission. Charity was kind of disappointed at that because she was like, we've been training to go to war. We've been training to do all this and that. And you're going to have me do mail? So she was kind of disappointed at that. And then they got down there. She saw General Holt. He has some kind of, racist words about it. He says, yeah, my entire, battalion is on their way. They're going to be, guarded and escorted. It's like, they're not escorted. They're going to be on this boat. There's, barely any beds on the boat. And they was like, what? Right? So these ladies were sent on this boat. It was rocking back and forth, seas, everything going crazy. They're throwing up and all of this and that. Man, they went through it. Right? And then Charity realizes that, hey, they said they had a lot of mail. Let's go see the mail. So they go, and these guys are like, oh, attention, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Salute, like, open up the hangar, and there's mountains and mountains of bags of mail. It's like, how many, hangars is it? It's like all of them. All of them have just nothing but mail in them. I'm like, wow. 17 million pieces of letters. Crazy. So the ladies get there. And they are so strong. They are so on point. They go down there. They line up, right? They are ready. Right? And I was impressed. I was impressed at the fact that with all of that rocking back and forth and barely making it over the seas in this crazy boat, that they're out there ready to go. All right. What was your first impression of all of this right here on this slide? I'm going to start with you, Tika.
I was just, first of all, you know me, I'm always looking at the background actors. So salute to all of the background actors. I saw a couple of my associates. And so all this freaking mail, that looked like a pile of rocks for them to have to go through each and every bag. It was overwhelming to me. My anxiety went on a 12. It went up to a 12. I'm like, are they gonna really be able to, to be successful with this? But I love that at the time, Captain Charity Adams was a great motivator. She led by example. She showed them what needed to be done, and I was just like, okay, let's go, sis, let's go. Again, empowering that moment, because the bag set me stressed.
I know. Real. Lawrence, your thoughts on this whole transition and them getting there?
Yeah, can I just say this right here? When they got that assignment, I knew it was going to be a stacked deck against these women. It was almost like a suicide type mission. I'm going to tell you why. For one, we know these women, they was living in terrible conditions. There was no beds, no heat, stuff like that right there. And they did not believe in these women. And they tried to give them a mission that they deemed as basically plain Jane, boring, that nobody really could do it. But it was up to these women. They finally did get the mail sort and all that. But when they saw all those hangars, they were surprised. And yes, Kerry Washington's character was definitely disappointed, because she thought, like, listen, we've been training, like you said, Jay, we're about to go into the real thing, and we're doing the mail. So again, it was just a stacked deck, but we know how that system worked, and they definitely showed it to us in the military during
Oh
that
yeah,
time. During that time,
absolutely, absolutely. Mo, I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna get to you, but I want to get to you about the mission, but also that march though. That march though.
Hmm.
Come on, talk to me about the march, B. Like I got goosebumps seeing all of this right here. What was your thoughts on the march though? Because they said they want them to march down to where they need to go. They wasn't going to drive them. They needed to march. What was your thoughts?
Well, they definitely got in formation and was marching, so they was sharp. I was right. I was like, okay, they was showing out. I was like, okay, you gotta
Yeah,
let them know. But yeah, the travel conditions. I was like, yo, what the anger, a little anger, just a little
yeah,
anger.
yeah.
And then I knew it was something when he said, "Don't open it until you get on that plane."
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Like,
mm,
nah.
mm.
You knew it was some
And
okey doke, right? Because she probably would have
right,
fought
so
back, like I ain't doing this, right?
right, exactly.
Because you know she a fighter.
Right.
Or
So
she
I was
ready
like,
for a
oh
fight, as she says. I'm always ready for a fight.
hey, uh, you know, part of the course
That's it.
for us. But
Mm,
anyway,
mm. You ain't saying nothing
when
but
I
the
saw
truth.
that mail, right? When I saw that mail, it took the wind out myself. So I'm like, yo, set trying to set them up for failure for sure. It's
Mm,
just like
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm like, all this mail been stacked here where the planes are, and they just out. So y'all had all this space for all this mail. Okay,
Right.
whatever.
I thought that too. I was like, okay, you got everything in the hangars. Where the planes at? You know, where the planes at?
I,
Tika, talk to me about the march. Okay, you were in the military. You was in the army, right? Specifically, right? Talk to me
Yep,
about this
I was in the
march.
army.
Talk to me about this formation. As you know, you get a little Beyonce up in there and put everybody in formation. Let's talk about that right there, and then we can go on to the next one as well. I want you to talk about, the setup here as well.
Listen, I was like left, 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 right, left. Like I was marching with them because they literally stopped traffic. The natives or the people in the area, the people that were where they were, the white people were like, oh dang,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of them. Like they stopped traffic literally, and it was empowering to see them be able to make it through that march regardless of the conditions that they did have coming all the way over to this country. And that's why we see this big smile on Captain now Major
Yeah.
Charity Adams's face, because she's proud. Like they tried to set them up for failure from the get-go, just as everybody is stating, and all of her ladies, all of her soldiers were able to make it through
That's
that
right.
march.
That's right. Yeah, I know. That smirk on her face said it all. It was like, yes, it was like a proud, like, look at my babies. Look at my babies coming
Mm-hmm.
through. You know what I mean? Representing me. And you see, I don't know if you see right there in that top middle corner, General Holt just looking straight. He ain't even, everybody else is looking at him. He ain't even looking at him. I'm like, get on my nerves, man. I don't like this guy. Anyway, let's talk about Tika. Let's talk about this whole setup right here. I mean, they gave him this school, right? No heat, right? Barely any water. It's crazy the conditions that they put him in. Lawrence, you mentioned this earlier, but Tika, talk about your reaction and how they put it all together. As we do as a people, we always make something out of nothing. Talk to me.
Yeah, Captain Major Charity Adams had to let them know, look, y'all, a lot of us have come from worse conditions than this. Again, she's just a great motivator. She literally, and it wasn't a speech of fear in them. It was a speech of, we can get it done. It was a speech of motivation. And she talked them through it. She had, I was about to call her Ebony. She had Lena scrubbing walls. She had people mopping and dusting and just cleaning. They literally they even got their own
Yeah.
hair salon. Like they a black woman do. I'm just saying.
That was fire to me.
Loved
Like
it.
Lawrence, man, They's like, listen, we gonna do this job. We gotta look good. Our hair gotta be on point. You know what I mean? Like we got to have the curl. They had everything all set up. They whoever it was the electrician. They found some electricity somewhere. As we do, we'll find electricity. We'll find some free cable. Again, it's just it was just us as a people just making things happen under the extreme circumstances. Brother, talk to me.
When you look good, you feel good. So that's why I love the whole beauty salon aspect of on this movie right here, in this scene right here in particular as well. And like we said before, black women, they're going to get the job done no matter what the condition is, right? And they was going to deliver. This was a setup. They was under dire circumstances, but Kerry Washington, like I forgot, I'm not Kerry Washington, but Cherry Adams, I'm sorry. Cherry Adams is basically saying, listen, we've come from worse backgrounds, like somebody mentioned before, but we are going to get the job done. That's what they did. I was proud of these ladies right here. They did it at all costs. No excuses for them. No excuses, they said, and they did it.
That's right. That's right. Mo, look,
Yes.
when, and again, this is live discussion now. When Lena saw that Johnny May was just throwing the dog tags and just throwing them out, just throwing them in like whatever.
No regards.
And Lena went off and said, "You need to show some respect. These were human beings. They died, for us, for the country. You know what I mean? Like she really went off and then asked to go to the bathroom. And then the girls, they went in there and Johnny May was just totally insensitive. She just was like, whatever, right? And here we go with the captain here. I thought this moment was special. Talk to me about your reaction to this moment right here.
At first, the girls said they had to go to the washroom as well.
That's right.
The crew. And then, of course, Johnny eventually came along, and she had her foot in her mouth when she realized that Adam, even though she'd been saying in her dreams or whatever, and she just said he's no longer here with us, and she had to eat that. Johnny had to eat that, and then I was hoping eventually the captain would come in because the captain saw she was going through, or she has like empathy of she knows something, like she lost someone. So eventually the captain came through, and it does, when you was in the training montage at the beginning, it did seem like the captain did not like her, but in true life fashion, that used to be the ones that you be close with in real life. You've been riding me, but no, they really, fond of you. And they, trying to make you, be a top 100, A plus,
Got you.
I forget the words.
I got you.
But yeah, so it was just a touching moment for sure.
Touching moment.
For the captain, to see the captain towards her for his attitude.
Tika, did you see this coming from Charity Adams? Because as you mentioned, Monique, she thought she didn't like her. She thought the captain didn't like her because she was embarrassing the unit or whatever the case is. But really, it was Johnny May that said, "Yeah, the captain don't like you." She kind of planted that in Lena's head when they were sitting down. You know what I'm saying? It was never said. And the way that the captain was acting towards her, like, "Yeah, you are embarrassing us. Like, come on, like, keep it going." But this moment right here, what did it mean to you, Tika? Like, how did it impact you as far as your perception of the captain now?
Well, I didn't expect the captain to I didn't expect Major Adams to walk in there and kind of show empathy to her. I didn't expect her. I thought she was gonna go in there and yell at her, "Get back on the floor. Soldiers don't cry." You know what I mean? But it showed, even because in the earlier scene, the girls were talking about why they were there. We got Johnny May saying, "I'm there for the men," and you have some that were saying, I'm coming to fight Hitler," and that's what that was Lena's excuse. "I'm here to fight Hitler." You know what I mean? And then when they really find out the truth, Major goes in and is like, "Now I understand. You're here basically because you lost someone, and you wanna find them, or you wanna, be able to bury them, or whatever the case may be." but it gave a more human side to
Right.
Major Adams. It didn't just make her look she's tough, but she has a human side, in other words.
Yeah, that's the part that
So
I
yeah.
love the most. As you said, my man is upside down again. Lawrence, you're upside down,
Oh,
brother.
Lawrence.
You're upside down again. I guess you're on the timer. Is he frozen?
He frozen too.
Okay. Well, you're upside down
Gotta
and
be.
frozen. Let me.
Because I'm looking like
Okay,
a
there you
nutcase.
go.
Like, what happened?
Brother.
Apologies. And shout out to Marcus Vaughn, who was also in the military. Salute to you.
Salute, my
Thank
brother.
you for your service.
Salute, my brother. I didn't know you was in the military, sir. All right. Salute to you. My guy, Lawrence, you may have to go out and come back in, brother, because you are upside down. I guess it's on a timer. But it's all good. If you can hear me, I'm going to pull you out real quick.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. So when he comes back in, then I'll see it. So anyway, yeah, man, it definitely did surprise me that she was this compassionate. It showed me that while she is on mission, she knows that, like, listen, I got these women here. I'm a black woman. They're black women. I'm a human being. Like, I can understand. You know what I mean? And as you said, Tika, like most majors, captains would be like, suck it up, get back out there, you know? So I thought this was a great moment for her. I think he's back. Okay. Great moment for her to, there you go.
Am I back?
There you go. Yeah, you're good. Great moment for her to just show that you care, right? They say that people don't care what you know until you show how much you care. Right? People don't care what you know until they know how much you care. And what she said was kind of profound. It was well written. Shout out to Tyler and the writers. Now I could put a face to the work now. Now I can understand why you're upset and why the entire all of America is upset because they're not getting any letters back from their loved ones. And why the soldiers also are upset and the morale is down because, you know, they can't get in contact. Like that was the only form of communication. Lawrence, I think you said that in your video, bro. And I salute you on that. That was the only form of communication that they had. There was no emails. There was no cell phones. There was none of that. There was phones back then, but it's like you got to go to the captain. You got to get the whatever going and wind it up. Again, this is 1942. You got to wind it up and do whatever you need to do to get some type of signal out. But yeah. This was definitely a touching moment. Lawrence, you want to add to this?
Yeah, I just want to say, piggyback what you just said. I think when it comes to the communication aspect, right? You know, writing those letters was a way for you to keep your spirits up while being in board. So that lets me know as a soldier back home, oh, okay, my son Ryan, he's doing good. He's crawling. My daughter, she's off to school now. That gave me, if I was a soldier, that would give me hope.
Yeah.
You know, that would give me inspiration and just a fight in my heart to keep going until I'm able to return home to my family safe and sound. So that was the mail. I hope that people in America is not downplaying the aspect of how important that mail was. Like I said, that was the way you could communicate. That was the way you kept your spirits up with your family.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. All right. Let's keep it moving. Can you cut a rug? Look. When the captain major was told that she wanted them to host the Negro males in the fort, and at that time it was like, okay, how they going to do it? I want to shout out all the women musicians up there. All right, did you notice this is all women playing the bass, the horns, everything, right? But you know, they got out there, they had a good time. You know, this was a good time. This was good to see. You know what I mean? This was really good to see. But I want to shout out Bernice Baker. That's right. Harlem, New York. You know, I got to shout out Bernice Baker because she was the one cutting it up, doing all flips, doing all this and that. And it was like, oh my God, how is she doing this? How is she doing this? Because she's from Harlem, baby. She's from Harlem. That's why. You know, that's right. Don't hate Chicago. Don't hate.
I just
we heard you with your okay. Anyway, what did y'all think about this right here? Was this a good time for you? Because I really enjoyed this sequence and these scenes right here. I'm gonna start with you, Tigger.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. Because we saw so much grief and sadness prior to, and we saw so much stress and hard work, and they needed a
Yeah.
time to wind down. So I love that they, even though it was for a reason, anyway, we know about the chaplain and all of that foolishness, but yeah, I loved it. And yes, there are women that can play those instruments. There are women
Yes.
that are mechanics. There are women electricians. That's how they were able to put that school together and make it become their home, because they were trained as mechanics, they were trained as electricians, and you got trained
Yeah.
musicians. Like, so I was having fun with them too. Shout out to the Harlem Renaissance
Yeah.
era. Like, love it. The whole the
Mo, did
dancing
you
and
want to jump in
everything.
there like Johnny?
They
Oh, go ahead.
paint on, as they call it, and they got to put
Oh,
their
okay,
red
my
lips
bad, my
on,
bad.
and I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah, it was definitely a bright spot of the movie, I would say. After, like what Tika said, after all that dark downtime and dark areas and emotional, it was definitely a bright spot in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. Did you want to jump in there like Johnny May? She's like, ooh, I want some of this fun.
Well, Johnny May, good time,
Johnny
good
May,
time.
boy, I
She
tell you.
fun.
I mean, she knew how to dance, right, Lauren? She like she knew how to cut a rug or whatever.
Oh, yeah, she know how to cut a rug or two. I mean, these women needed this right here. This was a sigh of relief for these women. Just to take
Yeah,
a break from all the chaos that they have been facing through all these last couple weeks. So I was happy to see them just for that moment of time for those ladies to let their cool down, to let their hair down. You know what I'm saying?
that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. This was a cool moment. I really, really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. But here we go with Hugh. Man, Mr. Hugh sees Lena and he's like, hey, how you doing, shorty? I had to come to see my best girl. And she was like, well, isn't your best girl your wife? And he's like, nah, I didn't marry her. So why you ain't marry her? He said, yeah, I was going to marry her, but I met you. And she's like, here we go with the smooth talk. Let me get up out of here. My mother already told me about the smooth talk. He's like, nah, it's not like that. What makes you think I'm trying to fool you? Like, I'm serious. And he was serious. He's like, can I have this dance, right? So they get on the dance floor. And then he's like, oh, I love this song. And what
Mm.
song does he sing?
Oh,
The
that,
same song that Abram was singing. You made me love you. I didn't want to do it. And she was like, oh my God. like everything just came back to her, flashback, and she ran out. Now, of course, again, they had a conversation outside. I thought this was important because, we see, man, like she was really in love with this dude. And even though she knew that he was gone, she still was just like kind of traumatized by that because this seems like the first love. They straight out of high school, right? Straight out of high school. Okay. Any words on this? Or I'll move on.
Yeah.
no words, no words. I just know when he sung that song, and I'm watching this right here, I'm like, oh my God, because I knew that
Okay.
song, those words are going to be a trigger, unfortunately, and they ended up having a conversation. It was a trigger, but yeah,
Gotcha.
but he didn't know. He didn't know that song was a part of our history. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Here comes the nasty work. Nasty work. This guy comes in there. Who sent this letter back? You clearly can see my number on here. And, Johnny May held it down. She held it down. She was about to knock his socks off. The man was talking nasty to her, talking nasty to the captain, told her to shut up, told everybody they were stupid. What y'all think about this? Go ahead. Anybody?
Well, I just want to say,
Anger,
yeah,
rage.
Yeah.
it's only so much turning of the cheek that you can do before you eventually go off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, that's what he get. That's the same. That's one of the dudes that they were at the movie theater, or they had some kind of interaction with
Right.
him where he was nasty and mean. And I'm like, that's what you get. I hope Johnny May sent your letter back on purpose, even though she might not have known your name. I was just hoping it was done on purpose, because he didn't deserve to get that letter sent out. He was
Right.
such a jerk. And yeah, but that shows the strength and the courage that women have had to endure. That shows the nastiness that has had to been endured.
Yeah.
Whether it's military or just your everyday walk of life back in those times, and you wouldn't dare say something back. Like you didn't really, if you were a lower enlisted soldier versus a major like Major Adams, you could talk. Major Adams could respond, but Johnny May, how dare you talk back to this, to this lieutenant that's walking in here? That was unheard of. But she did what she had to do, and so that she could take the heat off of Major Adams.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And then here we go with more nasty work with this freaking chaplain boy. Oh man. Supposed man of God up in there preaching a gospel, saying that, you got to watch your leadership, and, it's evil in the leader. I was like, what? Like right in front of her face, in front of her crew, and the whole nine, talking about let us
And
pray.
the president passed away.
Yeah. And you see Johnny May, she like got one eye open, boy. She's like, oh, what's going to happen next, boy? You know what I'm saying? This dude is talking.
Because she know he talking crap.
And look at his face. Look at her face, too. And she's like, you know what? Nasty work, time to air you out. I don't care what you write back to the general. Your ass got to get up out of it.
That's right. That's right. She outranked him, so she could kick him to the curb. She outranked him, so
that's right.
She could easily get rid of him, regardless of her skin color.
And he was nothing but a spy anyway. Nothing but a spy.
Yes.
Yep.
You know,
that was the other villain I was talking about right there, because I could just feel that pain. I could just feel that emotion in Kerry Washington, aka Charity Adams' eyes. Did y'all see those eyes? They kept cutting to those eyes, and you see those tears coming out. I was like, man, because she felt that pain. She felt that anger. Like you said, Jay, he basically was just a spy. And he was just speaking this negative, preaching this negative gospel against her. You could tell it was targeted right to her.
Yeah. And she's like, listen, you don't know this, but I'm the daughter of a minister, of a pastor. I know the Bible from Genesis to Revelations, and ain't nowhere in the Bible that you know what I'm saying? Like, she just read them, aired them out. The other captain was like, do you need her to help you with your bags? Because it's time to go. It's time to get up out of it. I was like, damn. I was really afraid for them right here, where, like, they didn't even have a bunker. They didn't have any, facility to go into to hide from any bombs or anything else like that. They had to go to a certain area of the school just to be in this hallway here. Like, this was just, again, I'm talking about the nasty work right now, the stuff that I really, really didn't like, But here's a bright light. We see Lena and the crew, boy. They are on it. They figured out that these soldiers, when they were sending out the letters, they were also drawing the map and putting a little spot, a red thing on the envelope as to exactly where they are in that particular country. Genius how they figured it out. What'd you think about this? What'd y'all think about this? Anybody?
I love that moment. Oh, go ahead, Lawrence.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I love that moment. That board, you wouldn't dare be able to look at that board. That's literally one of those boards that are private, is not supposed to look at. And Lena had the courage to just walk up to it and was like, let me see something. And she looks at the board, she looks at the different locations where they have all those different little pins marked. And what are those signs? Those are unit signs. Those are locations or post locations and all of that. To be able to put two and two together, that shows how smart Lena was as well. Because even Major Adams couldn't figure that moment out. She was working her work, but even she couldn't figure that out. And for Lena to just walk up there and basically solve the 1,000-piece puzzle, she did that. She did that.
Yeah, that was dope. Get Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, hats off to Lena, trying to navigate that piece of the puzzle, trying to solve it like a GPS, because like you said earlier, they did leave those dots of communication about where they left off. But even with Lena doing that just lets me know that deep down inside, she still has that courage. She still has that fight. And maybe she has been underestimated in the past, but I think within this core, she is showing that she deserves the respect. She's not only standing up for herself, she's also standing up for these women. She's trying to help them lead as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Mo 69 Ways. She had another live to jump on, so thank you, Mo, for coming through. You already know. Keep it moving. Thank you for being with us today. Let's keep it moving, family. Great work, Lena. Like for real, for real. As you guys said, like I wanted to definitely make sure we got her on a specific slide because she's going through it and she is elevated through this. Like she stepped up, as you said, Lawrence. So great job to Lena. We love it. We love it. Now this was sad. Sad, sad, sad. Man, accident in the Call of Duty. Now again, you know, watching this, seeing them do what they need to do to deliver the mail. There was a guy out there like, no, stop, don't go that way. And, you know, the young lady was like, nah, we on the road. We got to keep this going. You know what I mean? Da-da-da. She was definitely on point with just like, yo, let's just keep this going. But unfortunately, they hit this bomb. Tika, do you remember the name of the bomb, the number? It was just
It was
sad.
an 8, something 8.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that whole landmine situation, they realized that they had rolled over it. They told the young ladies in the back of the truck, get out of the truck. We're gonna do what Major Adams has taught us to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, they're gonna make it because they're gonna get out before it goes boom, you know what I mean? But because the pressure was let off of it by them trying to get out of the front, it was like no saving them. And you know, they were just doing their job. They did what they were instructed to do. So salute to those women who passed away during that time. That time, wartime. They died doing their job.
Right. Vera and Inez. Yeah, shout out to Marcus. Put that up there. Lawrence, any words on this, brother?
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, I feel like those two ladies, they was trying to, deliver the mail, but that guy was in their way, and it's like, oh, we ain't got time for that, yada yada yada. Unfortunately, they ended up meeting their untimely death, even though the ladies in the back were able to escape. But yeah, that was pretty sad. Pretty sad.
And what's even sadder is the fact that, you know, the general didn't even want to give them a funeral. We'll get to that. Before we get to that, Abrams' letter shows up. Could we imagine that this would happen like right now? Like she's right there. Johnny May, of all people, finds the letter. I think you want to see this. Man, oh man, oh man. What were your feelings about this, Tika? Like, how were you feeling when this letter popped up? You know what I'm saying? A little bit of blood on it and the whole nine.
I was just like, oh my gosh, they actually found the letter. Over 17 million pieces of mail out of all of that mail, and they actually found one that was addressed to Lena. Look at the odds of being able to do something like that. I was about to say, look at God, for Lena, for because she needed that closure. And I was just thinking, like, what emotional roller coaster are they about to take us on now? Is she gonna kind of like give up on the army, or is she gonna, become even tougher? But yeah, it was. I was like, oh my God, I was happy they found that letter, but I was just like, like, wow. And of course, Johnny May being the one to find it with all her negativity, she was the one to be able to find it. So salute to Johnny May for paying attention and getting Lena her letter.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Lawrence?
Whenever she found that letter, my heart started racing because I was wondering what was in the letter, when was she going to open it up, and what type of emotional toll would this letter have on her well-being while trying to serve in the Corps.
Yeah, I thought that too. Like, and I honestly, I know, I know what's her name? I forgot her name, but Johnny May was like, "Aren't you going to open it?" And she was like, "Just give her a moment, give her a moment." Right. Yeah. I was the same way. Like, you gonna open it? Like, what's up? Like, we've been waiting, we've been looking for this letter. You gonna open it right now? We was all kind of anxious, right? We was all like, okay, like, what does it say? What does it say? So I was kind of like on the same boat as her. But here's what I'm talking about here: the blatant disrespect of General Halt. That is a fitting name because he halts everything that is needed for our women here. And the blatant disrespect to not give them a proper burial is just another nasty work moment right here.
Can I just say something about that? If you don't mind? Whenever they was talking about the proper burial aspect, right?
Yeah.
I sat there and I thought about all the black soldiers, black men, black women, who did not receive literally a proper burial. Like they literally just died on the field, and their family here back in the United States are wondering what happened to their loved one. They may have never truly got an answer due to the benign negligence of what the military did, the racist aspect of the military. That scene was absolutely heartbreaking because that's real life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? For us as Black Americans being in a foreign country, not knowing if you are going to get a proper burial, not knowing if your loved ones are going to know if you died or not, or if you may have been captured, you know?
Yeah. Man, I was inside. I was crying with them. You know what I'm saying? Looking at the ladies here, I was just like, yo, this is crazy. They had to collect the money
Yeah.
just to get a proper burial.
Mm.
Tika, this part right here, though, this mean old world. Now, while we may not like Johnny May could sing her butt off, and I felt every word that she was saying, every word I felt in my bones. Talk to me about this right here, Tika. Your thoughts, your feelings.
I mean, her words were truth filled. And in that time, and even in this time, the world is just a mean old world. No matter how much we do for the world, no matter how much we give the world, no matter how much we birth the world, we're still treated as the least important individuals on the earth. And so this whole, yeah, I was like, oh my god, I ain't crying, y'all, you crying, and it was just me watching it, but it was ooh, and I mean she could sing too, so
Yeah.
the cemetery, yeah, it took me back a little bit.
Mm.
So yeah, they did it though, regardless of General Holt nastiness. They went ahead, they raised that money,
Yeah.
and gave those ladies a final resting place as they deserved.
Yeah,
So
man.
now they can write home to those families and say, "Hey, unfortunately, your family members have been unalive, but here is where they're located. Here's the marker.
Mm.
They'll have a place to visit."
Right. Anything you want to add, Lawrence?
I forgave Johnny May for all of the shenanigans that she did in this movie when she came out with that song right there because man, that song was absolutely touching to the core, definitely touching to the soul. I mean, you saw the emotion within her eyes as she had to sing that, because Johnny May is not the type of person, and I understand she's not the type of person that's going to turn the other cheek, right? Of course, she was raised in the South, so she's
Yeah.
seen a lot of racism. She's seen the KKK, stuff like that. Johnny May cut different, but when she sung that song, yep, absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm
Mm.
getting choked up thinking about it now.
Yeah. 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 Like I said, every word I felt. They
Yeah.
don't care nothing about us. Like, for real. Crazy, 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 crazy. And this part was one another part that was painful to watch, right? So here we go with the empathizer, the empathy of our major Charity Adams. If you know the date and you know the unit, you can find the young man. I was
Mm.
like, wow, I love her. I was like, man, like you the best major that anyone could have, because most, as you said, Tika, most of them are like, get back on the bus. Let's go. They don't care about your emotions. They don't care about your situation. This right here was special. So she said, okay. And Hugh, said Hugh can drive you back. And then she went. And I thought it was so dope. Attention to details right here. How she found him, but it was the Star of David because he's Jewish.
Yeah.
Mm.
That is so attention to detail.
Yeah.
Everybody has a cross because they're Christian. Yeah, that dope. Abram David. All right. I'm gonna go to you first, Lawrence. What were your thoughts through all of these scenes and everything in the letter? I'm gonna get it all. We're gonna get it all out. What are your thoughts and feelings?
back-to-back emotional roller coasters, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, when it came to that star, that was basically like a little Easter egg. Whenever you saw everybody else lined up with the cross and the Christian, but he had the Star of David. And she was able to get the closure that she needed when it came to Abram. And man, that scene was just absolutely gut wrenching, if I'm being honest, you know?
Yeah, definitely gut wrenching. Tika, go ahead. Your thoughts, your feelings.
Jay, your thumbnail says it all. It was painful to watch. But it also gave Lena the closure that she so needed. To kind of read that letter and kind of play back in her head him in that fighter plane and Vector Niner and all of that stuff was just like replaying back to her. And then, like you said, out of all the stones that or markers that she could go to in her mind, she was like, let me look for the Star of David. You know what I mean? Maybe that puts it together as well. And she found him out of that sea of Christian crosses. So
that was wild.
Yeah, it definitely gave her the closure, but it was definitely painful to actually watch.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to last name Obsidian, right? What's her first name?
Ebony Obsidian.
Ebony. She delivered on this right here. And shout out to the director for making sure that she, we felt it. Like, we didn't just see it, we felt it. And, as you mentioned, Vector Niner out. And she got that closure. She read the letter. And she was able to move on. And he told her in the letter, and this is the ironic, dopest part of this, right? Because in that letter, he said, live on and live for a long time, live for both of us. And Lena Derricat, forgot the other last name, sorry. But she's 100 years old. She's living for herself and living for Abram. This is wild. Like, you can't make this up. This is real. This is wild. So she did eventually, move on. And she's, we know she got with Hugh. But here we go with the inspection, boy. General Holt. Every time I see his face, he's a great actor too, because I've seen him in a lot of stuff. He does his thing because he makes me hate him so much. You know what I'm saying? He makes me despise him so much. Like he fits the description. Okay, we need a white male general that's going to be racist, that's going to be just nasty and disrespectful. But he went to the inspection, and he's like, "This is not your whole, battalion. This is not the whole." It's like, yeah, well, we do 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? We got the night shift, and they're sleeping. They're sleeping right now. He's like, well, I came for an inspection. I need to see your whole. He's just being difficult. So he's going through the rooms, right? He's going down the hallways. He's trying to go into the doors, and she's like, no, sir, they're sleeping in there. No, sir, they're showering in there. He's like, well, I came for an inspection. He's like, General Lee. You know who General Lee is, right? Y'all know who General Lee is. Do your history books, okay? We find out later in the Civil War. Anyway, he's like, I'm here for an inspection, right? She knows that. Can I go in there? Yeah, this is so she's breaking down the intricate details of how they figure out what letter goes to who. They got a pile of letters with the same name. Some of them have Bubba nicknames. I thought this was dope where he saw the perfume. Oh, this was dope. Like, you spending money on the perfume? It's like, well, some of the ladies, when they write to the troops, they put perfume in there. So we bought all this perfume, and the ladies are able to figure out where the perfume came from, where it was bought, what state, and then we retract that back. I was like, oh, shout out to you.
Yes. Yes.
Shout out to you. And he was like, no, okay. All right. I was like, you don't understand what's going on, son. You know what I'm saying? What's all this garbage, right? Oh, we got the fabric, you know what I'm saying? Some of the fabric and, was eaten up by the vermin. And, we kind of have to figure out, where this came from. I was like, yo, very intricate, very on point. But here we go. I want to hear your thoughts on this next scene right here, because he's like, well, you're not doing your job, and I'm going to shut this whole thing down. and I'm going to send in a white major to show you how it's supposed to be done. Totally disrespecting her in front of the whole battalion. And she says, over my unalive body.
Oh.
Okay. Who wants to go first? What was your reaction?
Tika, you mind if I take this one right quick?
Go right ahead.
Hey, listen. We know when it comes to a good monologue, Kerry Washington from her Scandal days. We know Kerry Washington playing Cherry Adams right here. She absolutely killed this role over my dead body. And nobody can do those little faces like Kerry Washington did when she did that little, when she do that right there, you know it's prime time like Dion and Shador, right? Listen, she went off on this general right here. I'm not mad about it. She fought blood, sweat, and tears to get where she's at right now in this ranking, right? And for you to come in and disrespect me and my troops, these women I'm working with, talking about you want to bring in another white person to see how it really needs to be done, she's not having it. And I was so happy to see this right here because he was like, listen, who do you think you are talking back to me? But again, like I said before, there's only so much of turning of the cheek that you can do when you're fighting up against misogyny, racism, sexism. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She did what she needed to do. Hats off. Killed this scene. Over my dead body is not happening.
That's right. All right, Tika, go ahead. What was your reaction to this right here?
Like, yes, girl, yes. Finally, you were able to come out of that uniform, so to speak, and give him literally a piece of your mind. You've been holding this back from way back before they deployed you guys, and just missed the continuous ill treatment, the continuous disrespect from various service members that were in this location where you guys are, and you finally gave this neck a piece of your mind. And I was just so excited for that moment. Now, she was a little shaken after she did it. I don't think she realized it kind of caught her by surprise. I don't know if she really thought she had it in her to talk back to a higher ranking officer. But you'll get to the part where
we'll get to it. Yeah, I got you. Don't worry.
Was like, yes, girl, yes.
Yes. Here's what I loved about this scene. Not only that she stood up to him respectfully, right? With all due respect, but she broke down his whole scheme from jump. Yeah, you sent us on this mission. You gave us 6 months. We didn't realize that we had all this mail in the hangar and all this and that. You thought we couldn't do it. You thought all of this and that, right? You send this freaking chaplain here not to really serve us on a God level, but to freaking spy on me, right? You don't, give my soldiers who have been unalived a proper burial, and you think you're gonna come in here and tell me what to do, son? No, man. Over my unalive body. I was like, shout out to you, yo. Shout out to you. Tika, what you said, you said she didn't realize it. She had an out-of-body experience. How many times we as a people have had an out-of-body experience? We didn't realize, like, you pissed us off and we just blacked out. Like, she blacked out for a second. But I loved it. I love that she blacked out. She had to black out. And guess what? The women stopped working. She thought she was going to get court-martialed. She's like, get back to work. She goes down there in the middle of them, stands on the table, get back to work, and they just start clapping for her. Yeah. Shout out to you, Charity.
That's a win.
Yeah. I think it was just like a long time coming. She was telling, Johnny May, you never do that. You never, stand out and talk back and all that. But she had to. She had to at that point because everything they worked for, this idiot, this evil man was trying to take away everything that her and the ladies put together. and then take credit. How many times we put some stuff together and they took the credit away from us, fam?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Let it out, sis. Let it out, sis. Go ahead. Go ahead. Anybody. How'd you feel about this moment? I know, again, I got goosebumps.
They needed this moment. Charity Adams needed this moment right here because they worked so hard to get to where they're at. And for somebody to try to come in, just snatch it all away in the blink of an eye. Listen, I'm loving how these ladies rallied behind their leader at the end of the day. Full circle moment. Absolutely incredible to see. Love it, love it, love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a morale booster. If nothing else boosted their morale, that moment right there secured the stamp, the letter, it secured it, and they needed that. Like Lauren said, they needed, like you said, Jay, the ladies needed that moment. Charity definitely needed that moment, and her partner, her captain on her side, needed that moment as well, because just as much anguish and disrespect that Major Adams takes, her partner takes that just as much, if not more. So she did that. She made that speech for every black woman in America. I
That's
love
right.
it.
She sure did. She sure
Yes.
did. It was man, Captain Campbell's her name.
Yes,
Her partner. Yeah. It was definitely like, you have our back, we got your back. It was a long time coming. We know what you've gone through, because she was speaking for all the black women in America at that moment against the general who represented America. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, this is, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, really, but that type of speech basically can impact future generations of black women going back from 1940 to present day when it comes to black women serving in the military. That was that type of speech that can echo from the 40s to present day.
That's right. That's right. That was a pivotal moment, as we say. Pivotal, right? Changed the course of history with that one right there.
Right.
And while this guy went back to try to dry snitch, because we got a new president now, Truman, right? He tried to dry snitch, try to get her court-martial. General Lee hears some noise outside, and he opens up the blinds, and General Holder's like, well, what's that? It's like, well, the mail is being delivered, you bummer. The mail's being delivered. And they outside, and the troops are happy. And, you know, I mean, I saw troops in like wheelchairs, and one didn't have legs at all. And they were so happy. They were so glad that they finally got mail, and they was getting their name called. And, you know, this guy, Hulk, couldn't say anything, right? The mama at home, you know, who went and expressed her, you know, feelings for the thoughts for her boys being away. Like, she finally gets her letters from her boys. You know, it was just definitely a great moment to see that they accomplished what needed to be accomplished. You know, Lena helped them figure out where the location was, right? Hulk came through on some BS. That you know, Major Charity Adams saying what she said to Hulk, as you said, Tika, boosted the morale, but they was like, we gonna work 10 times as harder now. We ain't going to sleep. Ain't no 24-hour shifts. We gonna get this done. We got something to prove now to America. So I loved it. I loved it. You got mail. And this was the ending right here. Man, I know your eyes was wet. I know all your eyes was wet. Everybody that's watching, I know. They walking through. Ma'am, are you the 6888? She's like, yes, we are. And what do? Man, oh man. They super salute the 6888. The guy was happy. He's like, yo, that's the 6888. And they put there, you know, they saluted, and she was like, at ease, and they gave them a round of applause. And who had the salute? That mother freaking little guy right there who said it would never happen. Well, guess what? He made sure that he waited for her to look over so he could be like, all right, I got my letters. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. So what you guys think about this ending right here? Was it a perfect ending? Was it a great ending? I'll start with you, Lawrence.
Full circle moment. These ladies finally got the respect, the honor, the dignity that these ladies are here absolutely deserve. everybody in the Corps, all these men, white men, racist white men, whatever you want to call it. Some were racist, some wasn't. They finally had to salute these ladies because they did the impossible. They did the impossible. They got it done. The situation with the male, everybody's on cloud nine now, and that was a very emotional scene. That another tearjerker scene that absolutely got your boy. I cannot lie. That scene, man, so good, so good. I'm just happy to see that right there. Respect, dignity, honor, integrity. These women, they deserve it. They got their flowers.
Salute, salute, salute. Yeah, man, look like your eyes a little watery right now, bro. You know
It is water right now.
That's all right.
No lie.
That's all right. That's all right. Our resident veteran, we honor you, sister. We honor you, ma'am. Tika, Deshawn. Your thoughts about this ending and this movie as a whole, your final thoughts on this right here. What are your thoughts?
First of all, thanks, Jay and Lawrence. And it was absolutely empowering. And again, I'm happy that we were able to hear our story, our history, our herstory. We're always kept under the, they never talk about what we've actually done to kind of contribute, not kind of, but to contribute to the world. And just as I stated in the beginning, going into boot camp and AIT training, they didn't tell us about the 6888. I even worked in the mailroom for a year when I was stationed in Korea. And listen, there was this guy that literally threw away over 100,000 pieces of mail, and I had to go in behind him and work to get as much of that mail out that I could. I didn't know about the 6888 at that time. Had I known, I think I would have worked a little bit harder because of everything that they endured. I mean, I got the mail out, but at the end of the day, I think a story like this would have empowered me to want to do even better. But I was just super excited that they gave us, Tyler Perry and company gave us this amazing project. Shout out to Netflix as well for signing on to something such as this. Like, this is our story. Kerry Washington, oh my God, Queen, you did your thing. Ebony Obsidian, girl, I would never see you as Karen ever again because you aggravate the heck out of me as Karen. And now I see you as an amazing, talented actress. From the costuming to the hair, to the makeup, to the everything was on point. The timing was on point. That salute at the end, I'll never salute you. Oh, well, you had to this time. That was an empowering moment. So I'm absolutely loving it. I'm definitely going to go back and watch it again. And I think this is going to be our movie for Christmas. I think this is what we're going to watch on Christmas Day as a family, because my family needs to know this history as well. So
absolutely. Absolutely. And powerful words from both of you. I appreciate both of you. I want to ask this, and this is kind of unexpected, but I wanted to know, is there anyone past, present, or future that you want to dedicate this movie to, that you say, you know what, this movie just reminds me of someone who impacted my life in a major way? So is there anyone you want to shout out? I'll start with you, Tika. Anyone you want to shout out, man, woman, whoever, especially women, of course.
Okay. Definitely, I had this sergeant, and last name was Wilson, and out of all names, but her last name was Wilson. To me, meeting her, I was one of those soldiers for the college money. You know what I mean? I didn't realize that there was promotion opportunities. There was a way for me to just advance, and I was like I kind of was a troublemaker. Like, I didn't take anybody talking to me any kind of way as far as those captains and those. So I would get in trouble. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would get in trouble for basically talking back. But she sat me down and she talked to me and showed me how showed me that I can be better than what I was being at that moment. She helped me get to a promotion board, or first of all, I was a Soldier of the Month board where I actually won that board. And then she got me to the promotion board where right after that, I scored more than enough to make my way to the Leadership Academy and then get promoted. So salute to Sergeant Wilson for doing your big one and being very impactful on my military life as well as my personal life, because she was no joke. She was kind of like Major Adams, but she kept me in check, and she taught me the right way to do things. So salute to her. Salute to her.
Salute. That's what's up. Wow. Didn't know you were a troublemaker. Nah, I know.
Oh, you know my mouth.
I know. I'm joking.
10 times worse back then.
Absolutely. 10 times back then. Okay. Lawrence, my brother, anyone, family member, service member, anybody you want to shout out, with this here?
I'm just thankful for all of my family on my mom's side, on my dad's side, all of those aunts and uncles and cousins that decided to go into the military and, doing the best that they can do for this country, even though sometimes this country did not love us back, right? So that's just my thoughts. Just grateful for everybody that did serve and grateful for this country.
Absolutely. Salute to you. Salute to you. I see some audience members. Anybody in the audience, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, definitely shout out, anyone that you want to shout out at this point, your mom, your grandmom, anyone in your family, anybody that's impacted your life. I see Ronnie Rivers right here. She says, mine too, the best of the end of the year movie. My grandfather, 1943 soldier, World War II vet. Salute to you. Salute to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Just shout out your people. Shout out your people. And I want to shout out my people. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, again, this was the 688 right here. We salute them. And I want to shout out my people, man. You know what I'm saying? This is my grandma, my great grandma, and my great aunt, and my great uncle. And again, super soldiers right here. You see my beautiful grandma. She's on the left right there. That's my great grandma in the middle. And then you got my grandaunt and my uncle who also served in the Army as well. So we got vets in our family. So I definitely want to shout them out. Salute to them. Thank you so much. And the last living member is my uncle right there at the bottom right. He's still around, still fighting. And then, of course, I got to shout out my moms. Super elected official. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom, my beautiful niece, of course, my sister right there. I've never seen my sister before. I think I had to get approval for that picture. But yes, my sister and my niece plans on now not going to the Air Force, but she plans on going to the Marines, Tika. So we got to talk about that. Yeah. So, Thank you. Yes. My beautiful people right there. Let me keep it going because, we got some sick people out there. But yes, that's the 688 family. Thank you both for joining me on this right here. This was a special one. And once again, shout out to Tyler Perry, Kerry Washington, Tyler Perry Studios, all of these beautiful women, the men and women the cast members, the crew members, the background, right, Tika, the BGB, the background folks, everybody. This was a special 2 hour.
Thanks for putting this together, Jay. Thanks so much for putting this together. I have another show in a little bit, so I didn't have time to do my thing on the 688. So thank you for putting this together and giving me the opportunity to talk about it and cry on the inside about it and just discuss it with other people that actually enjoyed the film.
Absolutely. Well, you know how we do. Tigger. You know how we do. You know what I'm saying? We always put it together. Anything else y'all doing real quick? Because I know we've been on for 2 hours. We've been on as long as the movie's been on. And again, it's a beautiful thing. We got a lot to talk about, and we wanted to really show our respect to the women, to the 688, to Tyler Perry, to everybody that put this together, because it really, really touched us all. I can tell it touched us all. All right. My man blacked out, but it's all good. Anything? What you doing next, Tika?
At 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you guys, we're definitely going to go virtual club eating. Where club eating is always the virtual club eating is always a vibe. We're going to talk about all the Queen's men. The latest episode is going to go down. Bring your wine. It's going to get a little twisted. That's all I'm saying. We're gonna have a good time talking about all the Queen's men tonight. 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. Myself, EJ the TV Junkie, Candy Love. Hopefully she'll be able to come through. I know she has another live scheduled at that time as well, or a little bit before that time. So we'll see if everybody can hop in virtual club eating. Letitia, light it up with Letitia is going to be there as well. Tamika's Den is going to be there as well. Definitely got to talk about Dexter in a little bit. I'll probably do that Monday. Then Christmas Eve, y'all, after my family and I do our thing during the daytime, I'm going to do about 5 Christmas movies leading into Christmas. Wow. So your girl gonna be up late. And thankfully I'm off, so I'll have the opportunity to be able to get all of this done. But I will talk about 5 Christmas movies that you should absolutely watch on Christmas Eve. And that's it. Thank you, Jay, once again for allowing me to be a part of this exciting moment. And everybody have an amazing holiday. Happy Christmas. Definitely New Year's Eve. We're gonna be back. We gotta do some countdowns. So just stay locked in and I'll make that announcement.
All right. Very, very good. Lawrence, what's the next thing you're doing?
Jay, first of all, I just want to say thank you for letting me join this panel with you and these 2 other extraordinary, incredible Black women. Always grateful to be on this panel with you guys. I did my review of the 6888. Make sure y'all check it out. Make sure y'all subscribe. I did a review about Jamie Foxx stand-up, the piano lesson as well with Denzel and his family. Shout out to August Wilson. But yeah, the 6888, absolutely incredible. I just want to thank Tyler Perry for doing this right here. Shout out to Nicole Avant. Shout out to Netflix, Tyler Perry Studios. And we got to make sure that we support Tyler. We asked Tyler to do something different. He did something completely different, and he killed it. So make sure y'all subscribe. The 6888, true life story. Man, what a story. What a story. What a story.
That's right. Shout out to both of y'all. Listen, I appreciate both of y'all being here. Shout out to Monique, 69 Ways. Listen, y'all been on rocking with us. If you watching the replay, hit #replay, hit the like button, family. We appreciate you all. Happy holidays. You'll see me probably on Christmas because I got to check on y'all on Christmas, you know what I'm saying, before I go do my thing and get my eats on. But look out for that. And we got a whole lot of stuff coming for the new year, family. A whole lot of content coming. Trust me, we're going to be busy. Keep it locked right here. VACAYJTV, all things ruthless. The Lawrence Report, Monique 69 Ways. Listen, it's time to be out of here. Appreciate y'all for real. And we out.
VACAYJTV.
Attention! Soldiers, I am Captain Charity Adams. Welcome to the Women's Army Corps.